the thing about the Mets, even the reason I wrote the book about the '86 Mets is they were really like dirty and gritty and sort of disgusting. And I think Backman was, he and Lenny Dykstra were clearly the two grittiest, nastiest, most disgusting members of the '86 Mets as far as down in the dirt, would do anything to win. Kind of go back to that Ty Cobb sort of philosophy of you'll spike a guy in the knee if it means getting an extra base kind of thing. That was Wally Backman. I remember researching the book and talking to Bill Robinson, who was their first base coach, who recently passed. And I remember him saying, when it came to Wally Backman, before every game, he said he would go up to Wally Backman and talk trash to him. That's how Wally Backman got going. So before every game, Bill Robinson would go up to Backman and say, "You're a no good son of a bitch. You suck. They all think you're terrible. You're worthless. They think you don't belong in this league. You're pathetic. You have no game. You don't belong here. You're a AAA ball player at best. You should be back home. You suck." And he said Backman used to get all juiced up about it, and it really got him going. And so he said every game, Bill Robinson would say to Wally Backman how terrible he was, that he sucked, anything he could to get him revved up. And that was kind of Wally Backman. He was a guy, again, he and Dykstra were, frickin' frack. You would think two guys with the big tobacco jaws and, big globs of tobacco in their mouths, guys who after the game go out and have a bunch of beers, guys who forgot that they were 5 foot whatever and thought of themselves as 6'6", And, the beauty of the '86 Mets, as a guy who grew up in New York, is they really exemplified the city at the time. Back in the '80s, New York was a pretty dirty, grimy, disgusting place. You walk around, even downtown Manhattan, a lot of homeless, graffiti on the subways. Crime was at a pretty good high. I think an all-time high for the latter half of the century. And the '86 Mets were out there. Any bar, Rusty Staub had a bar back then. You'd see all these Mets at the bars. You could go out. Finn McCool's on Long Island was a bar where all these guys used to hang out, and they used to drink really hard. And there weren't, beauty of the '86 Mets, there were no lines. It wasn't like the black guys hung out with the black guys, the white guys hung out with the white guys, the rookies were here, the vets were here. These guys all were with each other, getting wasted together, in some cases doing drugs together, picking up women, picking up other guys' wives. I mean, it was really, storing coke in bathrooms. I mean, it was just a different time, and I'm not saying it was glorious, but in a way it was glorious because it was so free for all. And so, when I wrote about baseball at Sports Illustrated, I remember they asked me to fly with the Oakland A's to do a story on the wildest team in baseball. And this was in maybe 2003, 2002. And I flew with the Oakland A's, and I was expecting sort of this, big party on 30,000 feet up. Guys were sitting there, headphones on, typing on their, on their computers, listening to their music. The '86 Mets were never like that, ever. It was a nonstop sort of party. It was like being a member of KISS and being a baseball player at the same time. There was a real sort of beauty and love to that, and I think a lot of fans embraced it, and I think really a lot of fans missed that.